The Diary of Samuel Pepys, 20th of October 1660. This morning one came to me to advise with me where to make me a window into my cellar, in lieu of which Mr. Sir William Batten had stopped up. And, going down into my cellar to look, I stepped into a great heap of turds, by which I found that Mr. Turner's house of office is full and comes into my cellar, which do trouble me, but I shall have it helped. To my lords by land, calling at several places about business, where I dined with my lord and lady. When he was very merry and did talk very high how he would have a French cook and a master of his horse and his lady and child to wear black patches, which methought was strange, but he is become a perfect courtier, and, among other things, my lady saying that she could get a good merchant for her daughter Jem. He answered that he would rather see her with a pedlar's pack at her back. So she married a gentleman than she should marry a citizen. This afternoon, going through London and calling at Crow's the upholsterers in St. Bartholomew's, I saw the limbs of some of our new traitors set upon Aldersgate, which was a sad sight to see, and a bloody week this and the last had been, there being 10 hanged, drawn and quartered. Home, and after writing a letter to my uncle by post, I went to bed. It's 21st of October 1660. Lord's Day. To the parish church in the morning, where a good sermon by Mr. Mills. After dinner to my lord's, and from thence to the Abbey, where I met Spicer and Dick Vines and others of the old crew. So leaving my boy at the Abbey against I came back, we went to Prior's by the hall back door. But there being no drink to be had, we went away. And so to the Crown in the palace yard, I and George Vines, by the way calling at their house, where he carried me up to the top of his turret, where there is Cook's head set up for a traitor, and Harrison's set up on the other side of Westminster Hall. Here I could see them plainly, as also a very fair prospect about London. From the Crown to the Abbey to look for my boy, but he was gone thence. So, he being a novice, I was at a loss what was become of him. I called at my lord's, where I found Mr. Adams, Mr. Shepley's friend, and at my father's, but found him not. So home, where I found him, but he had found the way home well enough, of which I was glad. So after supper and reading of some chapters, I went to bed. This day or two my wife has been troubled with her boils in the old place, which do much trouble her. Today at noon, God forgive me, I strung my lute, which I had not touched a great while before. The 22nd of October 1660. Office Day. After that to dinner at home upon some ribs of roast beef from the cook's, which of late we have been forced to do because of our house being always under the painters and other people's hands, that we could not dress it ourselves. After dinner to my lord's, where I found all preparing for my lord's going to sea to fetch the Queen tomorrow. At night my lord came home, with whom I stayed long and talked of many things. Among others, I got leave to have his picture that was done by Lilly copied, and talking of religion, I found him to be a perfect sceptic, and said that all things would not be well while there was so much preaching, and that it would be better if nothing but homilies were to be read in churches. This afternoon he told me there hath been a meeting before the King and my Lord Chancellor of some Episcopalian and Presbyterian divines, but what had passed he could not tell me. After I had done talk with him, I went to bed with Mr. Shepley in his chamber, but could hardly get any sleep all night, the bed being ill made and he a bad bedfellow.